the end of the poem, we go from Genghis Khan, and people are going to be thinking about mass murder and whatnot, and we get to the sexual act at the end here. You know, the last
Yeah, it takes a
portion,
complete turn from where
and
it
but
initially leads
but
to.
the reason is about getting outside of oneself. If we are not all here, meaning not where we think we are, we're outside, we're not all there, which gets into meaning that then it gets into the idea about uh, sanity and insanity, because not all there is a colloquial here in the English language around the turn of the millennium that we use for being crazy. So I mean, you get the Genghis Khan stuff, and I believe I got the 70,876 skulls from a history book that when I looked up on it, ate freshly baked blood pies, and then we get there. The first machine was a chipped rock. We go back to the caveman, eyes feed into you, and the ballpoint of infinity is a schmutzy line dripping across the clear light of. And it's rare that I have an of breaking there, but I do that for a reason. Oh, breathing half that shadows me. And then you get at just a pile. So and Stonehenge are just a pile of rocks, somehow vaguely redolent of a meaning, as this hand which guides me. Is he masturbating? My flesh guides me, or my flesh is not what enters. And so it's basically about it's basically what I was talking about, parallax, getting outside of oneself, whether you're watching a National Geographic special about Eric von Däniken or Genghis Khan, getting outside of self and going back in. The use of the sex act, two people becoming one. Can those two people becoming one be, is that intellectual Congress just as well as sexual Congress? So, you know, again, it's one of those things that I remember this poem writing it, and you know, uh, it's one of those poems that I really enjoyed writing because it does take in things. You know, your smile of the onomatopoesis of orgasm, unspoken, you rise. The, that not. It's one of those things that only I could have written, and you know. You talk about someone like a John Ashbery or James Merrill or a lot of these poets, but no one has these kinds of thoughts about putting things together in ways that, again, parallax. Uh, you know, a lot of people have written about sex and violence, death and rebirth, or whatnot, but they do it in very heavy-handed ways. This again is not really an overtly Stevensian kind of poem, although it does, because it doesn't have it. It is more direct in its imagery and the way it's presented in a prosaic sense.